Was there ever a time you had to actually refuse to work on a case, and why would that have been the case?
The first big time that happened was when Jimmy Hoffa disappeared. And at that time I was pretty well known. I was living in northern Delaware then. And I got a call from a man who I'm not going to identify, but he wanted to hire me and was offering me a ridiculous amount of money to find Mr. Hoffa. Now, of course, you couldn't be living in that area then and not know who he was and what that he was missing. And I said no, that I was going to pass on that case. And he said, why? And I said, I like breathing. Oh, no, we will make sure you're protected. Well, I felt that the man I was talking to, who was supposedly trying to hire me to find this man, was involved in killing him. So I said, no, it's just, I'm too new at this. You know, I thought, well, if he's not going to take just a straight no, then I'll embroider the no a little bit and try to convince him I'm not good enough to do it. And he said, lady, you're known all over this area. I know how good you are. Why are you refusing to do this case? And I said, I like breathing.
Yeah.
And I knew that if I had taken it, I would not have lived. A couple of days later, I got a call from a young psychic that had come up to me when I was giving a talk, and she said, I've been asked to work on the Jimmy Hoffa case. What do you think? I said, I turned it down because it's too dangerous. Well, why is it dangerous? I said, think about it. You're dealing with some very dangerous people who don't want anybody to find him, so just think before you take it. Well, then you wouldn't take it? I said, I've already turned it down. He offered me, in the end, I think he offered me $500,000 to do that.
What do you think the motive really was to get you involved with something like that?
That's a good question. I've always wondered why. Why would someone who was involved in the disappearance call me in the first place? I guess because they really didn't believe I could do what I could do. And of course I went right to the detectives I was working with and said, guess what? So-and-so called me. He wants me to work on the Hoffa case. And they're like froze. They're like, you said no. I said no. But the man who called me is involved in his disappearance. Years later, that man was arrested.
Interesting.
And he was involved in the disappearance. And that's like, thank goodness I'm psychic. Thank you for warning me not to take the case. But it was just like, you're going to give me $500,000. And I said, what good is $500,000 going to do if I'm dead? I got small kids. I don't want anything to do with this case. So that's an example of one case I refused, and there are other cases like that. And there was one case that I turned down because it was kind of an odd series of coincidences, but I knew the killer, and he knew me. And I knew there was no way they could cover me 24 hours a day and protect me. But I gave them enough information that they actually got an arrest pretty quickly afterwards. They were looking in the wrong direction, and I headed them in the right direction. But I said, don't ever tell anybody I was on this case, because they'll come after me.
Yeah. You seem to ever have like problems with them keeping you, it seems like you want to stay out of the spotlight as much as possible. And do they respect that usually, or?
Most of the time, police officers don't want a spotlight on my being there because it can endanger the case they built. Which is why I've stayed, probably be 5 times as famous if you knew half the case I was on. But I don't want, my thing is putting killers behind bars and leaving them there. That's what my purpose is, and the cops are headed the same way. So, you get 2 visits, and it's like, I remember years ago when the Atlanta murders were going on. And Dorothy Allison goes down there. They flew her down. She gets off the plane, gets in front of a bunch of reporters and says, I'm here, there will be no more killings. I'm sitting in a police department in, we won't discuss where, and we're watching this TV news conference, and I just went like this, and I said, oh my God, he's going to kill 3 kids right away to prove she has no control. And that's exactly what he did. It was horrible. It's like nothing like challenging a maniac, making it look like you have some control over him. Well, you You have no control over a killer like that. But it was frustrating because they were getting ready to take me down to work the case, and of course after she did that, the cops wouldn't have anything to do with a psychic. So I did some work at a distance, but it was so frustrating because 3 children died because of that ego statement. And it's frustrating because I try to work in a way that will be helpful to law enforcement and not get in the way. You don't want the case thrown out because the psychic was on it.